did wonder why it didn't have more momentum. So basically, it was like the week it's out, you're off the label and it's done. So they can't really do. I assume they didn't or couldn't really do much.
They couldn't do much, bro, because I just didn't. How do you explain that? How do you explain? How do you explain like the single that you know what I'm saying we all hyped up and ready for? The video, the number one, we seen the tightest video that we have. You know what I'm saying? D.P.G. It's number one on the box. You know what I'm saying? It's everywhere. Everybody is looking for this, and then when they go into the stores, it's not there. It's something else that they never heard. Like, how do you explain that to me as a person that it's my stuff? You know?
Right. Now that's
So,
a.
like,
And then what was Drester's response, or how did he handle it?
he was pretty much he was mad as well, but he didn't go as far as I did. You know what I
Mm.
mean? But we was hot as hell, bro. Like we didn't understand that. We
Huh.
just didn't understand. And then look, even after all the madness, we still, once I calmed down and came to, and I'm still not signed to them. Like we went on promo tours, like because Jail Felony was signed to Jam Master Jay, right? And we all on Def Jam, so them and us, we toured and did little things together, but it was just a bittersweet time, bro, because I'm just like, our album should be doing better, you know what I'm saying, than what it was. But that thing happened, you know what I mean? And from there, it was just, I don't know, bro. I just wasn't really, my heart wasn't into it as much.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, that's understandable, but also disheartening that, yeah, that, you work hard and you do all that stuff and then you make a mistake and then a lot of it, you lose your passion for it
Yeah.
like that. Um, man. But before we continue on that path, I did want to ask you a little bit about the album itself because one thing with Every Day All Day, I was just shocked that it's the first song and you're not on it. So
Yeah.
I was like, what was I was looking or listening for you, but I was like, man, where's BD on the song?
Well, I'm on the hook. I'm doing the hook, actually.
But I mean a verse
But the
though. I mean,
verse, yeah, yeah. So this is what happened, right? This is a background a lot of people don't know about that. So I was the person that they wanted to sign, right? I was the Outburst Def Jam only wanted me. They didn't want Dresta, right? So now my brother, when he gets wind of this, he's over there flirting with the idea of signing the Death Row.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's taking meetings with Suge and all this shit. So, I went to bat for my brother. I'm like, nah, I can't, this can't happen, bro. You know what I'm saying? Easy's our guy. You know what I'm saying? We fuck with him to the T. You can't fucking go sign with Suge Knight, bro. Like it's not gonna work. So I went to bat for him and he ended up coming to Outburst with me. You know what I mean? I even had to split my initial, you know what I mean? The initial money I was gonna get, I had to split it down the middle to give him all this, whatever. So boom. So right after the real motherfucking G's, the It's On album with Eazy, they immediately start working on Dresta's album. So the reason why you hear him with those songs like that, he already had them already.
Mm,
So we just like, they was in a rush to put out a project to catch the momentum of Dog Pound dissing me on What Would You Do? So they
right.
just grabbed all those records that Dresta had, added me to some, and then we made a couple new ones. And that's how we made Real Brothers. That's pretty much how that happened.
Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was always curious about that because well, for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
But and then with like Dr. J and Madness for Real doing several songs on there, of course they did a lot with Easy, they did a lot with Ren.
You. Yeah.
Yeah. So that being said, you've had this huge success, but now you're working with these producers that have done a lot of stuff with a lot of other big artists.
Mm-hmm.
So did you find yourself um, evolving in the sense of listening more or being paying attention more, or did they give you any feedback of your delivery, your style, your lyrics, or anything, or was it all just
No,
once?
once dealing with Easy, bro, like I can imagine like if somebody was under Dr. Dre or anybody from NWA. Once you come from that school, there's not too much else that somebody can really school you. You know what I mean? So I didn't never, bro. I don't recall no time recording with anybody after that where they was telling me like, "Hey, do this and do that." I
Really?
don't
Okay.
recall any of that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Interesting. All
yeah.
right. Now with 50-50 Love, that one, especially compared to DPGK, his is a very different thematically in the sense that it's, lamenting and being reflective of the negative things that are happening in the hood with the killing and the violence and gangbang and all that.
Hmm.
So do you guys remember um and it's obviously very different from Real Motherfucking G's. So do you remember why that song was important and how it kind of balanced out some of the other themes on Real Brothers and your other stuff?
Well, that was Drester's song. You know, Dresta was, man, like that's my favorite rapper. Just so everybody know, Drester's my favorite rapper. Dresta was so expressive with his music. Like he, it's kind of nostalgic of Ice Cube. You know how well they can detail things and things like that. So Dresta was kind of already he already had that song. The verse that I rapped, he even wrote. That was his verse. He just
Hmm.
allowed me to, to be on the song with him. But that was pretty much his thing. And I never thought about like the way you just expressed it, how it balanced the whole record. I never really put it together, bro.
Hmm.
I never thought about it in that way. You know what I mean?
Well, this is why I think gangster rap in particular is so powerful
Mm-hmm.
because of songs like 50-50 Love in the sense that it's one thing to uh, vocalize and articulate frustration, but it's
Mm-hmm.
another thing to articulate it as you guys do on that song, and that's what I thought was so powerful about it because it's we're in the midst of this, but we're identifying the problems, but not doing it from a sense of anger, but a sense of disappointment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it wasn't, I don't care clearly about profanity, but when you don't have as much, it's it's like to me it's window dressing for the sense that the people that don't listen to rap all day every day like we do, they could listen to it and maybe
Right, right,
appreciate it in a different way than
right.
say Dope Man to me is the best anti-drug song or one of the best. But my mom and dad wouldn't want to listen to that because all the profanity.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But they would listen to a 50-50 Love in the sense of, oh, I get it, or oh, I didn't think
Right,
about it that way, or
right,
whatever. But Dope
right,
Man, the message is similar, like don't do drugs, and these guys are terrible, and you don't want to be a strawberry, and all this. But it wouldn't resonate with them the same
yeah.
way.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, maybe
uh,
my brother, I mean, you would have to ask Drayster what he was thinking at the time. But it's crazy, bro, because growing up in LA in the environment, the gang environment, the drugs, you know how LA is very street or whatever, right? You never really notice these things until you become a teenager. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody start off so innocent. Because in the neighborhood, if you grow up there, you're friends before you from the gang. You my
right.
friend. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it pulls at people so deeply because we're not just friends, we're not just homies. We didn't walk up and actually get put on this gang and came from some. We grew up here. Our parents grew up here. Their parents grew up here. So it's very deep. The ties is deep. So, once you become a teenager and then you start seeing different things in your friends, you're like, oh, damn, I never seen this side of you. You know what I'm saying? You start seeing these things and then it turns you off and it becomes this bittersweet thing. And then it forces you to be a person that you really didn't want to be. You know what I'm saying? Because if y'all gonna be like this, then I'm gonna be like this. And this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think that's where he was coming from with the song. But like I said, he's older than me. His experience was different than mine. Dresta was always a big kid. He was always big for his age. So he had it kind of rough. You know what I'm saying? People always mistook him for being older than he was too. So he
Mm.
would go through things. I'm the little light skinned kid smiling all the time that everybody liked. So I didn't have that thing in the neighborhood that he did. But once I became a teenager, I started seeing more and more and more of what he was talking about. But yeah, you would have to really talk to him and he can probably tell you a lot more, why he decided to write that song. Yeah.
Well, hopefully I'll get to do that one day.